What up, YouTube? It's me, Isaac, coming to you with another edition of my life. So, back in February, I got the Yu-Gi-Oh! Early Days collection. February 27th, to Pokemon trainers. That day is very significant. If you know, you know. So, I've been meaning to do a review of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Early Days collection, but I got kind of sidetracked. And by sidetracked, I mean if you're a gamer or a musician or if you're passionate about anything, you know what I mean by sidetracked. You'll lose track of time uh, doing things. Heck, I lose track of time more than more than when I'm playing guitar or playing video games. I lose track of time when I'm working on a creative writing project, but that's neither here nor there. So the Yu-Gi-Oh! Early Days collection has every game from Game Boy to Game Boy Advance, and I am playing Monster Capsule, AK, or as I call it, a mix of Dungeons and It's a Monster Capsule is basically Dungeons and Dragons mixed with a dungeon crawler, which is a really cool game. It's the first time the Early Days collection is the first time that Monster Capsule has been released here in the US. I have no idea why we didn't get this game before, but I'm enjoying it. It follows season 0. If you know, you know. And let's just say with the quality of life enhancements, I'm having a blast with this. And so that is, I believe, the third game in the collection. And I beat the first two games in the collection, which are basically just let's see. The only way I could describe the first two games, Duel Monsters and Duel Monsters 2, are they are console versions. I mean, they're handheld versions of the PlayStation 1 game. God darn it, what is the name of that game? Forbidden Memories. That's it. And and by that I mean they it the three are the same, and at the same time they are completely different. Different rule sets. Duel Monsters 2 actually has sacrificing um where Forbidden Memories and Duel Monsters 1 did not have sacrificing. I will admit that I am using some of the enhancements on Monster Capsule because why wouldn't I use them since they're in there? I mean, I did the same thing with my Mega Man collection, which when the Star Force Legacy collection comes out, I'm pretty darn sure I'll do the same thing with that. And on top of playing Monster Capsule, which, like I said, is just if you it's hard to explain since it's the first time I've gotten to play it, and it's definitely different rules than than Duel Monsters and Duel Monsters 2 Dark Duel Stories, which is weird that Duel Monsters 2 is called Dark Duel Stories, when the first handheld game that we got here in the US was called Dark Duel Stories. Completely different layout to what we got. Duel Monsters 2 is a completely different layout to what we got as our Dark Duel Stories. So that is really odd. Oh, and here's something interesting. There is one game that is completely in Japanese, and I do not know why when the other 11 games are in English or in different languages. I do not know why one format of Duel Monsters 4 is in Japanese. It is very weird because right next to the Japanese Duel Monsters 4 is the English translation of Duel Monsters 4. It is very odd that they did that. I mean, why couldn't they just why'd they have to put Duel Monsters 4 there twice when in the games you can scroll whatever language you want to play it in? I mean, even Japanese is the language, a language you can change it to if you want it to on the one that was right next to it. So why have both copies of it? That's kind of weird. Now, one of my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh games of all time is on this collection, and and the sequel to it is also here. But here's the kicker about this, about Sacred Cards and its pseudo sequel. If you know, you know. Being in the collection. About, I want to say, 2 or 3 months before the early days collection was released, I asked my mom to buy me the Yu-Gi-Oh! Double pack that had Sacred Cards and Reshuffle Destruction. So around the exact same time, well, actually, I got the double pack like a month or two before. But I digress. So over the years I've had several copies of both Sacred Cards and Dark Duel Stories. Reshuffle Destruction. My first copy of Sacred Cards I got when my brothers got their copies. But my brothers stopped playing their copies, so they handed their copies off to me. So I have 3 physical copies of Sacred Cards in my possession. I've had 3 separate copies of just Sacred Cards in my possession over the years. And then I got the double pack, so there's the 4th copy of Sacred Cards I've had over the years. And then the early days collection came out. So I've had 5 copies of Sacred Cards over the years. And when I first got when my brother first got Dark Duel Stories, it was hard for me to play because I'm more of a traditional Yu-Gi-Oh player, but in this collection, in the early days collection, I actually did beat Yu-Gi-Oh! Dark Duel Stories, Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters 2, Dark Duel Stories. And I have moved on to Capsule Monsters, which is a great game. Actually, it's called Monster Capsule, but I digress. If you know Season 0, you will know what I mean by it is a lot darker than than any Yu-Gi-Oh game I have played. If you know Season 0, you will know what I'm talking about. And if you know, you know. It does, so far, I think I'm only, let's see, there's 5 different levels. I'm on, I think, level 3, and I am completely lost on it. Or am I on level 4? Either way, I'm either on the 3rd level of, I'm either on the 3rd dungeon of, wait, I have Joey, Tristan, and Bakura's dolls that they got turned into the doll figurines from Season 0, Episode 27, if you know, you know. And so I'm pretty sure I'm on the 4th dungeon, which is quite confusing. If there was a way to restart the dungeon all over again and keep the monsters I have, I would do that, because I have no freaking idea what I'm doing, and it's starting to bug me. I think I might have messed up and lost everything, or I hit a button too early. I'm not sure what it is, but I am completely stuck. I think I might have soft locked myself in this dungeon, and it's getting quite annoying. I am enjoying Monster Capsule, don't get me wrong. I enjoyed watching Season 0, so when I heard Monster Capsule was coming, I was completely thrilled. Am I thrilled that I am stuck? No. Am I close to moving on and just playing Sacred Cards again? About 30% of the way to just saying forget it and coming back. But we shall see what happens. I do love the quality of life enhancements to Sacred Cards and Rechef of Destruction. The reason I love the enhancements from Rechef of Destruction is because if you've ever played that game on on the physical software, you will know how much of a frustration that game is without the enhancements. I have tried to play that game. Let's see. I've had the cartridge my buddy gave me after something happened to it. I won't go into that. Then I've had a copy I found at I think it was GameStop back when they used to sell GBA games, or it might have been Disc Replay, which still sells GBA games and GameCube games, but I digress. And then I got so I've basically had 4 different copies of each Sacred Cards and Rechef of Destruction. Was the first game that I played when I got into the collection Sacred Cards? Yes. Do I regret that? No. Am I happy that Rechef of Destruction is in the early days collection? Absolutely. Is it still one of the hardest games, even with the enhancements? Yes. And by enhancements, I mean highest duelist level and highest deck capacity. If you know, you know. The deck capacity was one of the main reasons why I said do not play Rechef of Destruction on physical hardware unless it's the early days collection. Trust me on this. Any duelist who has played Rechef of Destruction on physical hardware knows that it is one of the most challenging games. Well, in the Yu-Gi-Oh series, if we are not talking our first playthrough of Forbidden Memories. Good Lord, that final 6 in Forbidden Memories, don't even get me started on that. Oh my. Is Forbidden Memories a game that I wish they put into the collection? Yes. Do I see why they didn't? Most definitely. Because the early days collection is focused on the handheld, not the console games. Do I hope they make a collection of the console games someday? Yes. Will Forbidden Memories be the first game I play in that collection? No. Am I hoping that if in the theoretical console games legacy collection that Capsule Monsters Coliseum is in there? Yes. If you know that game, you will know how fun it is on PS2. I am your host, Isaac Brummett. Please like, subscribe, share with your friends, leave a comment. Peace out, y'all. I hope you've enjoyed my video, my retrospective of several Yu-Gi-Oh games. I'm your host, Isaac Brummett. Please like, subscribe, share with your friends, leave a comment. Peace out, y'all. Have a good one. I know I sure as shit will. Peace out, y'all.